once again, it's still really too very quiet. Ah, boy. I mean, in a way, I guess I am kind of thankful. You know, between the start of this new year and where we are right now, a lot really has, happened. Well, for me, anyway. I mean, I said that I would, among my New Year's resolutions, among them were, spend more time with family and be a little more adventurous. And I'd like to say that, I've been good with both, but, we're already 23 days into the new year. Like, it's really been going by fast. I don't really know what to say about that. Lots of things have, happened. We had, major football championships happen. Hockey and basketball are both in full swing. Well, technically they already were, but, now we're really into the nitty gritty of it. With everything going on, like the news, everything going on, it's, there's just stuff happening all over the place. And, here I am mildly complaining about how, quiet it is when really it isn't. Jeez. I mean, nothing for me, nothing new that I'm looking forward to is exciting me. I mean, it's going to be a while until we hear anything about shows like Rick and Morty and Amphibia. Hot Ones is going to have a new episode in 2 weeks, which, I guess 2 weeks is better than 3 weeks. So, we're moving right along. There was that brief stint where it was actually warm, but now it's cold again to the point where, I practically dread going outside if I have to. It can just be so confusing, Like, I don't know. But again, while a lot really has happened, I actually am, kind of glad for it, because when you have days like yesterday and probably today, and for that matter, Tuesday, in which, nothing is really, happening, it sort of gives you some time to, recharge your batteries a little bit. That way when something big does happen, you're there, you're ready, you just want to, go, all in. In that regard, it's fine. And I'm actually, really appreciative of it. Jeez, I really don't know what else I could talk about or say. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess I could still at least say happy Thursday, everybody. So, yeah, nothing is happening. I mean, again, that's not true. Lots of things are happening at any given time. But again, no new episode of Hot Ones this week. I mean, I've been checking on their Instagram. Nothing. There's no hints of, a new episode. Not even a Truth or Dab. I mean, I already did a list of what Hot Ones guests I'd like to see. That was a while ago. But that's kind of because I thought, maybe we'd be getting something today. Because, again, January 23rd, 1, 2, 3, that'd be a great way to start off, season 11. But I get why. The good people over at First Sweet Feast are trying to make some magic happen, and, for the most part, I think we should just let them do it. Nothing really strange or out of the ordinary. I mean, there's the Super Bowl to look forward to, but then it's still well over a week and a half away, which honestly, the wait for it's going to be completely interminable. Yeah, we do have the Pro Bowl on Sunday, which, if you're into that sort of thing, it's fine. For the record, no. I'm not going to be making any kind of prediction on that game just because that game really has no stakes to it at all. Like, none at all. Honestly, you're better off just, using this opportunity to spend time with family and stuff for the next, several days. I know I will. But then again, it would just sort of be following what my New Year's resolution was going to be. I guess, wow. You know what? I really can't deny. I really am feeling kind of sad. It's nothing to do with any of you. It's just that, for 30 years of my life, I knew that there would always be those special individuals in my life, be they friends or family, that, I would always be sure at the very least that for the most part, they'd be there for the rest of my life. But and don't get me wrong, if anything, the videos I always do on December 14th are of any indication, if a person's time comes, it comes. Whether they take matters into their own hands or not. But when it happens in a way that you were never expecting, in a lot of ways that can be very, very tragic. I say this because after 30 years, 3 weeks, and 3 days, as of January 21st, 2020, I now only have 3 grandparents. Yeah. My grandfather on my mother's side had passed away. Now, don't get me wrong, it had been a foregone conclusion. He actually had a form of cancer that ultimately metastasized, so, it really was just a matter of when. And it's not like I never saw him at all before he passed away. I actually saw him on literally just the other day, on a Friday, this past Friday. So, it's not like, I never saw him in my life at all. And I think what really made me feel sad, full disclosure, I haven't just simply, cried my eyes out or anything. It's probably only going to happen during the funeral after seeing my mother do it. Or maybe it'll just hit me out of the blue. But I think what made me feel the most sad is something I'll never forget he did. Now, growing up, I like to say I was forced to do it, which is true. But whenever anyone in my family did anything nice for me, I had to write thank you notes. And needless to say, my grandfather on my mother's side definitely warranted a lot of thank you notes from me, that's for sure. And I think of all the thank you notes I've ever written to him. Not that I remember all of them, mind you. But of the ones I have written, the one I'll never forget was the one I wrote to him thanking him for being there in several points, one in Savona and then one in Painted Post, during the first time I ran the Wine Glass Marathon. See, he lived right up in Hammondsport on Keuka Lake, so not like it really wasn't that far of a drive for him. Shortly after I wrote that thank you note, I had gotten a call from him. It was on my answering machine. Now, before I tell you what the message was, I want to iterate what I wrote in the thank you note. I had said, I could never express enough how much I will always appreciate the love and support you've given me throughout my life. Because, again, for 30 years, he was there. So, of course, he was there even then. And what really got to me was I hearkened back to that very message he said over the phone, where he said, obviously thank you for the thank you note, but also I hope to be there all the days of your life. Well, sad to say that's not really going to be happening anymore. But what keeps me from just being a complete emotional wreck over it is the fact that, I've met people in my life who've never even had grandparents, or if they had grandparents, they either already passed away, or people I know who had grandparents never even knew them before they had passed away. For 30 plus years, I had all four of my grandparents. Now it's down to 3. So I can hold my head up high for that he was there. It's 30 years, not including leap year days and the first 21 days in this year, not to mention the last 3 days of 2019. So 24 plus, over 10,000 plus days, maybe more than that, maybe 11,000 plus days. That's a pretty long time. My grandfather was there for all that. So I really have nothing, sad or anything, bad to say about it. And another thing that really helps, and whenever a friend of mine on Facebook loses a loved one or a pet, and they always talk about it on Facebook, I always say that, it's hard losing a family member or a loved one. It is. But it allows for the opportunity to think about and then become, thankful and appreciative about the fact that they were even part of your life at all. And then I always say that talking about it is some of the best medicine for it. So it's always nice that, they share it. They share these things. And for those of you who are wondering, if talking about it is some of the best medicine, why don't I feel good now or anything? Well, it takes time, for starters. Plus, and another reason why it really is among the best medicine for it is you can't OD And the refills are free. Think about that. So, my grandfather's favorite drink was a Manhattan, and I obviously don't have one on hand right now because it's barely 6, just not even 6:15 in the morning when I'm recording this. So, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but I don't have any alcohol on me at all. But I would have a drink in hand. It'd be a Manhattan because that was his drink of choice. And I would say to my grandfather, his name was Richard Rahill. We all called him Bobo. Thank you for being part of my life. For those of you who actually knew him in person, you knew exactly what you were getting into because he was a wonderful human being. And for those of you who didn't know him, if you had met him, you would have loved him. Or if you didn't love him, you definitely would never forget him. So, no matter what, it would always be a good thing. And it will always be a good thing. No, it'll be a great thing that he'll always be up here and in here. So, like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button, follow me on the social media platforms, turn notifications on YouTube. I am very humble. I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hoping you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And remember, if you guys are on Taco Chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices. See ya.